All right, everybody, checking back in on the cryptocurrency space. First things first, everybody take a deep breath. So this market's going nowhere. We had a really nice day today. We had really nice follow through. We had some news in ETH, but this is a decade-long game, and we're in it for the long haul. So let's continue to learn. Let's not freak out. It's just a big pot of energy on days like this where everybody's in extra hyperspace mode and everybody's all amped up and people are fearful of making the wrong entry and people are over exuberant with gains and people are wanting to know what's happening next, and it's really easy to get frazzled in this scenario. We need to remain calm and keep sticking to our game and being the robots that we need to be in this trading environment and lock in those gains day after day and just take it one day at a time. And some examples of that I'll go over here on ETH, but I didn't get the whole move. I've had an incredible week of gains, and I'm very happy for that. So I'm playing things with that in mind. And when the news came out, that was really an extra turbo boost to the upside, and I'll go into that in just a moment. But on that move to the upside, I was missing a couple entries. I had my market order filled out for 220. And as soon as I was about to hit the button, there was a 3,000 wall, and it instantly flashed, disappeared. And I didn't even get a chance. So I held off. Had I pushed the button after that and, bought 202 to 204 that would have filled me up or whatever, I would have ended up making profit. But that was not the trade that I wanted. That was not the game plan that I was establishing heading into that trade. So I held off, and I didn't like the risk to reward up at these levels. I was entering and exiting for a little $4 or $5 scores, and again, it's a very, very, very long game. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We are in no rush. So deep breaths, keep calm, cool, and collected, and control those emotions. I cannot stress how significant controlling your emotions are in the path to becoming a successful long-term trader. If you cannot control your emotions, you will not be a long-term trader. Same thing with poker, same thing with so many things where psychology is evolved or so involved. If you cannot control your emotions, it's going to be a short time that you are playing this game. So, that being said, some things I want to point out with the action today, and then we'll get into what to expect going from here. So first off, in the last video, we were pointing out the big time bull volume, the increase in bull volume and the confirmation of the reversal candlestick. Now we have an all-time high in volume thanks to that news, and that obviously favors the bull significantly as well. The daily chart's on the verge of a bull break, or I should say a bull MACD cross. We're on the verge, well, we did break one of these lower highs. That 228.88 level was very key, and because of the volume behind this move, if on this daily time frame we consolidate, we are absolutely now anticipating higher lows and higher highs to begin forming. This was a trend-changing event. Now pending, the fork August 1st, making the whole space collapse, which I certainly don't foresee. That would be a scenario where this would not be a trend change moment. But because of the volume, because of the break of the lower high pattern, I am looking for higher lows and higher highs to begin forming. This is the same thing if you look at the live trade video that we posted from over the weekend. This is the same thing on the 5-minute time frame that had me look for that entry at 130. After 130 was hit, we saw 3 big green candlesticks on increasing bull volume. We broke the lower high pattern. So as soon as we break that lower high pattern, our mindset shifts, and we then look for higher lows and higher highs to begin forming. This is the exact same scenario on the daily time frame, and we're looking for healthy bullish consolidation right now, which is occurring as we recently switched over to the new day. So looking at the 4-hour time frame, let's zoom in. So the 4-hour time frame had a bullish break. We had a downtrend resistance line. I like to use downtrend resistance line as a gauge. It is not my entry signal. I use price levels. Well, I'm obviously entering and exiting all the time, but I use price levels because they are more important to me. You can break a trend line and still be in a downtrend in terms of a lower high and lower low pattern. So even here, this candlestick, back here, we closed above this downtrend line, big bull candlestick, but it's still lower than 228. And if we had pulled back from there, it would still be another lower high in this pattern. Fortunately for the bulls, that was not the case. We saw continuation and we broke that. So now we saw a bearish reversal spinning top candlestick. We are confirming it, but it's going to be on declining bear volume. It's going to be normal healthy consolidation, and there's going to be a nice overnight entry here heading into tomorrow. And I'm not anticipating tomorrow that we're going to break 249.40, the high. We could absolutely, and we'll position ourselves to be able to benefit from that. But I'm anticipating the equilibrium pattern to form now because of the volume climax, because of the significant move to the upside where we went pretty much $60 in a 12-hour span. That's the kind of move where we anticipate an equilibrium pattern to form. And again, the volume, most notably, is the reason for that. So now we're going to be looking to consolidate and form a higher low. Right now, I've got some bids in the low 200s. I'm looking to play off that 200 support because if we were to drop down while I'm doing this video, I know that the 5-minute RSI would be very oversold and the 15-minute RSI would be getting pretty oversold as well if my orders were to fill at those levels. So this is normal healthy consolidation after the breakout. This is the 4-hour time frame, and we're looking for a higher low to be established. We're looking at 200 support, and then we'll pick out some other levels by zooming in to get in more detail. So the hourly time frame now, I'm looking at 200 psychological, and then I'm looking at 198.03. That's the low of this little consolidation before another move to the upside. This is the downtrend line. Let's get rid of that now that it has broken. And this is healthy consolidation. This is a nice pullback. The volume is not saying anything too significant for the bears. And I'm looking for a bullish reversal candlestick and confirmation. So last night after we did the video, we were looking for some consolidation and potentially for it to play out on the 4-hour time frame. It only lasted one candlestick on the 4-hour time frame, but this is the consolidation that occurred after I did that video. And we pulled back. The hourly time frame formed a bullish reversal candlestick. We did not confirm it. And then we formed a bullish reversal candlestick and we confirmed it. And then from there we saw the higher lows and higher highs in the breakout. So we are looking for a bullish reversal candlestick confirmation to indicate that we're going to be heading back up. And I will look for a lower high to form. Right now I'm seeing resistance not only at the high that we've seen here, up just under 250, but I'm also looking at this resistance here, the high of this green candlestick attempt, that rejected at 235 essentially. So there's two resistance levels there. If we see a bounce from the low $200 range, I'd say a $20 move would be an awesome move and a lower high to fit in this equilibrium pattern. Nice 10% move from these lows. So it's going to happen overnight, just patiently waiting and going to establish a game plan depending on how the shorter term RSI levels look. Another thing I want to point out is what I feel was a timed news release. Now, what I mean by that is in the stock market, it's become very apparent to me after observing things for years that that news is not just released. It is always released intentionally at certain times, depending on the chart setup, depending on the time of the day, depending on a lot of different factors. And I do believe that this news today, the EEA Ethereum Alliance news, was released intentionally right at a critical point on this chart. And I drew this ascending triangle pattern with a clear double top at 112 before the news came out, obviously. And here was my resistance line. We rejected from 112. We rejected from 112. And I was getting ready for this breakdown because of that wall of resistance and how strong it was. And look at how tight we got here. And then look at the news release. And I don't know. I have to go in and double check to make sure my facts are straight. If you guys have the actual timestamp or, timestamp of a tweet, timestamp of an article, let me know just because I'm curious. But I do know that the news did start circulating around the chat room and everybody started talking about it right as this break occurred. And then obviously look at the volume. So it's clearly something went on right on the break of 212. And that was the bull break of the pattern. Now, I don't think whoever released the news is sitting there watching this ascending triangle pattern. But I do think they're aware. The game plan was probably, okay, we're on an oversold bounce. We see that for a day now. Once the bulls look like they're tiring from this oversold bounce, let's put this news out. Let's give them one more push to the upside. Let's squeeze some shorts here. And a lot of shorts did get squozen. Nice little word there. On this move from 212 to 250. So I do believe that they saw that resistance and the big wall at 212, and they intentionally released it right when the bulls needed that extra momentum to push through. And then, of course, you see with the wild action that happened after that, we had GDAX crashing. I got in right when GDAX came back on and sold for another $5 move. So all kinds of just quick trades. And again, having such a good week, I'm not trying to be greedy here. I'm not going for the home run. I'm not trying to get, every single dollar that I possibly can. If you give me the kind of profit that I'm looking for, a $5 move, I'm going to take that and take that off the table, knowing we're in overbought conditions and knowing that we can see a $5 to $10 pullback very quickly at any moment. I'm going to keep locking in profit time and time again and just continue this long-term game. This is a multiple decade game. And if you give me the kind of gains that we've had this week, a couple times a year, my year's made. So I'm just playing it safe That's my strategy. There's people that want to be getting in for a long-term position. That's fine as well. The trend has changed in my opinion. So this overnight consolidation would be a good time to be scouting for a longer-term entry. Then you set your stop loss level and protect your trade, and you look for the bulls to hopefully see a break of 250 sometime in the next few days and see this continuation. So where we stand going forward, the consolidation going on right now, here we are. That 212 level was important support that just broke because that was the resistance level that marked the breakout. And here we are. We bounced off of it originally just above it by 50 cents, another lower high, and here we are breaking it. So I was going to be looking for an entry at 212. I came home and it has broken. So I'm holding off now. And the RSI is hovering just above oversold. So that's why I've got my bids right now spread out between the mid to lower $200 range, because I know if they were to get filled, this RSI would be oversold on the 5-minute. Checking it on the 15-minute RSI, not oversold yet. So a nice lower high, lower low pattern. The bulls are going to be looking to hold this 198 level. I believe that they will. If they don't, it's going to happen on increased bear volume, and that will be a clear signal as well. But I will be looking for my entry somewhere in the low 200s or above 198 essentially. And obviously going to be watching the order book and how many bids are in place and things like that. But I'm not seeing any signs right now that are telling me I should not be looking for an entry overnight. So that's what we've got here on Ethereum. And in terms of the next resistance level, if we do get a higher high here, we're going to be looking up at 253.31. That was a resistance level on a peak back here. And then looking up in the 260s from there. And just looking for a higher low of support. This is the first 4-hour significant consolidation we've seen on the way up. First 2 red candlesticks in a row. So this is a bearish reversal spinning top being confirmed on the 4-hour time frame. So now the 4-hour time frame has to form a higher low. And we're going to be watching very close to see where that is, assuming it's going to be overnight. And again, increases in bear volume would be an indication that we could see this pullback last into tomorrow. So Bitcoin, where do we stand on Bitcoin? Daily time frame, bullish reversal candlestick confirmed, increasing bull volume on the follow through, still a lower high pattern, completely different scenario because the news didn't have that extra boost higher. So resistance up here is 24.17 and we got to a high of 23.93. This is a lower high at this point. The bulls have to consolidate on the daily, form a higher low, and then break this pattern with a higher high. Otherwise, the bears are going to remain in control overall. And let's look at it on the 4-hour time frame, where we can see a V-shaped recovery. Actually, this is a potential psychology of a cup and handle pattern, very misdiagnosed pattern. But what you have is the left side of the cup, the consolidation. This is still a little more V-shaped for some people, but it's good enough for me. And the right side of the cup is unable to break the left side of the cup. That psychology of the pattern is important because that leads to the profit taking that makes the handle. It leads to profit taking and consolidation because we couldn't break the left side of the cup, couldn't break that resistance, and then the bulls look for follow through and a breakout from there. That's entirely possible here. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's a very rare pattern in terms of the amount of times that it sets up compared to the amount of times it follows through. But that's what's going on right now, and there is still potential for that to happen. We'll see by tomorrow morning. Things will have shaped up a lot more clearly over the next, I'd say, 4 hours. We'll know whether or not that pattern is likely or not. But again, just another lower high at this point. This is the first significant consolidation we've seen on the way up. All these lines on this chart are from the 1-hour time frame. Look at all these bull flags on the way up. Bull flags are healthy, normal consolidation in an uptrend that lead to continuation. So we see consolidation, continuation, a bullish reversal candlestick at the bottom of the bull flag before continuation, bullish reversal candlestick, confirmation, all the way up. Just little brief periods of consolidation on low volume before the bull volume kicks it back up to higher highs. And you can see, when did the trend start shifting? We had a bearish reversal, inverted hammer, and then this significant bear volume candlestick broke the higher low pattern. The key support was 22.78 to maintain higher lows and keep the bulls in control. We broke that. So as soon as we break the higher low pattern, we then begin to look for lower highs and lower lows to form. And that's currently the scenario that we are in. And we look at that on the hourly time frame. We haven't broke the higher low pattern yet on Ethereum because of that news kick to the upside. It was 3 hours of straight upside. The last consolidation low that we have is that 198 level. So I am looking for the bulls to hold that 198 level and stay in a stronger uptrend than Bitcoin is currently in because of that news. So Bitcoin still has the key resistance level to break for me is going to be up here at 24.15 and 24.17. Have to break those levels or it's still a lower high pattern. Litecoin. Daily time frame, 3 green days in a row. It is on decreasing bull volume, so that's something to keep an eye on, and it is still a lower high pattern here as well. Overall, it's a bullish uptrend, higher lows and higher highs, but just in the past few weeks, lower highs and lower lows, bulls have to break 48.48 to break this pattern, and we're a ways away from that. We got up to 45 today. So from here, we have to consolidate, form a higher low, then by then we'll see a bullish MACD cross and a higher high if the bulls can reverse this trend and take back control. So the 4-hour time frame, we can see it's just another lower high here for Litecoin as well. We didn't have news. We did break this downtrend resistance line by closing above it, but again, that's why price action is so important to me and not just the trend lines, because it is still a lower high pattern. I drew some resistance lines here, got another resistance line up here at the top, that 48.48 level, and as of right now, we're consolidating, and the bulls must form a higher low here on the 4-hour to be looking their best above 40.56. That's the most recent low of consolidation on the way up. And we are potentially forming a bullish reversal candlestick on the 4-hour time frame. On the hourly, nice bullish reversal candlestick. So looking pretty good here. And that's the most bullish hourly. Well, we got a bullish reversal inside bar. Actually, this is going to be a nice pattern here. Bitcoin has multiple hourly inside bars, and the break of the hourly inside bar is going to be a trade signal. Here was a bear break of an inside bar. As soon as 2278 broke, that's a bear signal for that candlestick, and it followed through to further downside. So for here, this candlestick is about to form, and we're closer to a bull break than a bear break. If when this candlestick closes, we get a break of 2281, we can anticipate the next hour is going to be bullish because this is an equilibrium pattern on the shorter term time frames. And you zoom in for even more details, the 15-minute time frame, and let's actually look at it on the 5-minute time frame for more details. We've got our low, our high of the bounce, our higher low, and now our lower high, and we're looking to break this lower high pattern on the 5-minute time frame to give that bull signal. And as of right now, we're getting fairly close to that happening. We could draw some trend lines if we wanted to keep a closer watch on things to just get a better sense of where we are looking. And that's where I would put that pattern. So equilibrium pattern shown as inside bars on a macro scale and watching for that break in Bitcoin. So we do have a bullish reversal candlestick forming here. And it looks like I might have missed an entry here on Ethereum, so I'm going to potentially change my orders here. 15-minute time frame's not breaking the lower high, lower low pattern, so it's not making me rush on anything. 5-minute time frame, nice bull move, but a big upper wick of profit taking. But that's a bounce off of that. We bounced off 210 and got up to 218, so that's a nice $8 bounce. But I'm not rushing here. I want to see higher lows and higher highs on this 5-minute time frame before I look for an entry. So still going to leave my bids there. I doubt they'll get filled, but I'm in no rush to enter right now while I'm making this video. I can patiently wait for things to develop a little bit more, so I'm a little bit more confident. Golem, nice little higher low, and now the bulls are looking for a higher high. We have a bull MACD cross. We have to see a break of 13,466 to change this daily trend, and it's certainly possible for the bulls to do. They've had a nice bounce play out the hourly time frame, higher lows and higher highs following through. Still a lot of work to do, but seeing some recovery with the crypto space, and you can see the bottoming out here. This 4-hour downtrend was brutal, and we got an oversold bounce. Higher low, need that higher high. Things are tightening up on the 4-hour time frame and looking for that break. So because I'm longer term, I'm just looking at this daily time frame and watching to see if we can get this higher low and higher high to reverse the trend. So where we stand right now, bulls are still just fine. This is healthy consolidation that is going on. Ethereum is the leader due to the volume that came in with that news. Definitely has the spotlight here overnight. And we're going to be watching for that higher low to form and a bullish entry opportunity, as I do believe we are going to be heading back up on Ethereum. Let's get a target here. If this hourly equilibrium pattern were set, let's say 210 is going to be our low, I would anticipate a bounce up into the 220s from here. So let's say, well, we might even be able to make it up to this 235 level to see our lower high set. Let's set a target for 230 from 210, just under a 10% move, looking for that higher low. If we can confirm this bullish reversal candlestick, this candlestick is just starting. We have a long way to go in this hourly candlestick, 59 more minutes. But the bulls have some volume coming in here on the 5-minute time frame. So seeing this volume, I will likely make an entry on the first consolidation we see on this 5-minute, and I will stop out if 210 breaks. So that's probably going to be my game plan for tonight. And you can see since I recorded this video, started recording it, my game plan has completely shifted based on the last 10 minutes of action. So that's all we've got for tonight. we'll check back in potentially tomorrow, maybe not. Not going to be an everyday thing, but of course on exciting days like this, try and do it when I can. And again, calm that energy. Need to have a clear mind to make these sound decisions. I have not felt one emotion of fear during this entire time because I'm very confident that worst case scenario, I'd eat a loss. I stop myself out at a small loss, and I will easily be able to make it up with one bullish trade. So I appreciate everybody watching. Have a good night, and we'll see you soon.